हेलो बच्चों। इस ट्यूटोरियल में हम बात करेंगे इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट के बारे में। ये सब्जेक्ट इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट है और उसमें थर्ड यूनिट में टॉपिक है इंटरनेशनल एचआरएम। So just have a look, what does it mean? International HRM is the process of, you can say, procuring, allocating and effectively utilizing human resources in a multinational corporation. Okay, see, we have already understood all these things in the previous videos. Like, we know about that international, what is international business, how the companies are managing the international market. And as you can understand that undertaking like the MNC, which is doing business in many of the countries, generally have the staffing, or you can say recruitment, from many corners of the world. So this is a big issue in front of the companies, that how to manage this entire human resource, so that there can be the cost can be minimized to manage them, and the company can take the best out of that human resource. So it is basically the concern of the company, how to manage it and how to take the best out of every corner or every country. So this is a topic which is known as the international HRM, where balancing the integration and differentiation of HR activities in foreign location is also there. कॉन्सेप्ट थोड़ा सा और अगर हम इसको एक्सप्लेन करने की सोचें या बात करें, द ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड टेक्निक्स एम्प्लॉय यूज टू मैनेज द human resources challenges of their international operations is known as IHRM. Means the same thing which the company is doing as to manage their domestic kind of operation, and they are enhanced at the global लेवल. जनरली जो हमने बात की थी जैसे इंटरनेशनल मार्केटिंग के समय पे भी, कि जो मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटजीज हैं वो विच आर adopted by the companies at domestic level, and if they are adopted at the larger aspect outside the boundaries of the country, they become international marketing. So in the same way, the HR techniques and policies which the company uses at local level, and if they are enhanced globally, they become the part of the IHRM. It can be defined as a set of activities aimed at managing organizational human resources at international level to achieve organizational objective and achieve competitive advantage over competitors at national and international level. See, HR managers undertake the same activities as their domestically based colleagues. The scope and complexity of these tasks will depend on the extent of internationalization of the organization. Basically, the approach of the company towards the IHRM is this, that they have to effectively use all the human resource as what their competitors are doing, and the same practice can also be followed by the company. And see, the task and the operations at the global level are already very complex, so they need to manage them, and they need the best human resource to manage all these things. So इसके अगर हम बात आगे करें, what are the different objectives of IHRM? Few of the objectives underline this IHRM. The one is to reduce the risk of international human resource. Risk of international human resource. The companies who are doing the international marketing or dealing with international business, you just imagine that how much money they are spending on arranging, recruiting, selecting, and making that employee fit for the organizational objective. They spend a lot on training and development, doing research. So generally they are at risk also, that if that employee leaves the company, that is a sheer risk for the company. So they don't want this, and they want to retain the employee. So for that retention, they need to consult with different consultancies, and they have to manage all these things to avoid cultural risk. Cultural risks are also there because the company is dealing with many of the cultures. We have already read the approaches like ethnocentric, polycentric, in which the study of every culture is important, and they don't want to take the cultural risk, in which they, if they fail to understand the particular culture, the employee which they have taken from that culture or that nation will not stay in the company. So they have to give a proper room, proper weightage to the different employees who come up from different caste and creed, from different cultures. Third is to avoid regional disparities. Regional disparities are also there. See, if we talk about the global kind of scenario, there are a group of countries who are developed. Again, there are developing countries, and many of the nations are very poor, and they have even a very pathetic condition. They do not have the proper infrastructure even and basic amenities to live up there. So, and the company will have to do the business in all these countries. So these are basically the regional disparities. And if they find there is a lack of qualified candidates in a particular market or to manage with, generally they have to invite the CEOs or MDs or the top management from their nation, or from any other developed nation, to manage all the things. So they need to equalize the factors at various times, just to overcome the regional disparity. To manage diversifies human capital. Basically, you need to manage it diversified. Why I'm saying this diversified? Because the people, if invited from different corners, they have different kind of background, means their educational background may be different, they have different language, they came up from different culture. So the adjustment of these employees at one particular place in a company is quite difficult. They need to be trained and groomed in such a way so that their disparities or their qualities can be taken by the company at one single platform, and they can be trained easily. So this is basically the need, why we talk about IHRM. Now, just have a look about the differences between domestic HRM and IHRM. A few points suggest you. More HR activities. If we talk about HR, and if we compare HR to from IHRM, we find that a number of activities are increased in IHRM. Like the taxation of each and every country is different. So whenever you are dealing with the salary part, or giving the compensation and incentives to the people who are working in your organization, you have to have the change kind of taxation system, since every government is having a change taxation. Cultural orientations are also different. Different kinds of administrative services are there which are involved in IHRM. So that depends from country to country, and you have to manage all that. The second is the need for a broader perspective and cater to multiple needs. Broader perspective needs की basically यहाँ मतलब है कि जो IHRM में हम बात कर रहे हैं, and the needs of different employees from different corners are different. Some employees, they work for the fulfillment of their basic needs. Some of the employees, they want the career advancement and career growth. Some of the employees which you have taken from different corners may work for exposure or getting the experience. So you have to cater the need of each and every employee. More involvement in employees personal lives. Basically, the companies who are dealing with the global scenario, they have to keep in mind this thing also, that every employee has some family, or if they have some kind of personal involvements in their family matters, like how the adjustment can be done if they have the spouses, they have the children. So many companies like Google and Facebook, they provide such kind of facilities to women also, that if they have a kid, so they have a play school, a kindergarten school in their campus. Like a company like Google, they have the playgroup and kindergarten in their campus. Even the people are there to manage the children's of the different ladies who are working there in that organization. And this basically is done keeping in mind their the peace in their personal lives. Changes in emphasis as the workforce mix of expatriates and local varies. Change in emphasis. Actually, expatriate क्या है यहाँ पे मैं बता दूँ. Suppose if the company is from one nation, and if that company sends one employee to the another nation for some task or for some project, so that employee in another nation is known as the expatriate. So the expatriate as well as the local workforce is there, so you have to keep fairness among both, otherwise the employee will get frustrated. Risk exposure is also there high in IHRM, as the expatriate failure may occur. Terrorism or some kind of natural calamities can also be the part of it. So the companies who are dealing with the IHRM, they need to focus on this thing also, that whenever any person is sent to abroad, right, proper training can be done. Otherwise, proper understanding of the market should be there. Otherwise, the people may get failed there. Last is the broader external influences. External influences are more in IHRM, as the government regulations differ from nation to nation, and different countries have their ways of conduct they're dealing in international market. So that is a, a part of study. And what are the factors affecting the IHRM? The first is the differences in labor market characteristics. Labor market characteristics are different for different corners of the world, and you need to understand them, because you see, a majority of the production is done by the company, and especially when you are a large company or you are an MNC, your main focus is, or your main specialization is in manufacturing, and for that sake you need to have a skilled labor force, and that you have to procure in the international market. And basically, labor market is different. In India we have a different kind of labor market, in China it's different, in America it's different. Even the cost of handling that labor market and the cost per labor is also different. For example, hard drive manufacturers are reported to be shifted their production base from Singapore to cheaper locations like Malaysia, Thailand, and China. In the recent few years, we have found this, that many of the manufacturers have shifted their production base to China or any other cheaper location, because the labor market characteristics in Singapore are gone high. Then cultural differences are also there, that varies from country to country. Culture is also different, and that affects your IHR policy also. And you need to understand this fact, that the people who are coming from that particular culture, their opinion, their thinking, their way of instructions, their way of understanding is entirely different. And I quote one example here, just like in developed countries like America, it's quite often, it's very, यू कैन से, बहुत आम बात है ये, इट्स क्वाइट कॉमन कि वहाँ पर जो बॉस है उसको मिस्टर वर्मा या मिस्टर शर्मा कह के आप बोल सकते हो. बट इन इंडिया इट्स नॉट, इट्स नॉट टेकन दैट मच ईजी और दैट्स कॉमन, क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो बॉस है आप सोच भी नहीं सकते कि उनको आप इस तरीके से बुला सकते हैं, है ना. इट्स कंसिडर्ड बैड हेयर. सो ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल इज देयर, like sleeping in a meeting is quite often, it's quite common in Japan. In Japan, generally, if you see the video, the people or the MD is addressing to the sales force or the employees in front, and many of them have this kind of problem, like they sleep in the meeting. So generally sleeping in meeting, and if you are in Japan, is considered good, because they believe that you have done a hard work, or you have thought about the company, you are working hard for the company, and that's why, because of the overburden and because of the stress, you have the sleeping habit during the meeting. Then differences in regulatory environment is there, and like the labor laws, the legal environment, the legal framework, taxation system, that varies from one nation to another. Then attitude towards employment, it's also different. The youth who which we have in India is a different kind of attitude, different bend of mind, and the youth which we have in America has different bend of mind. So if we need to persuade the people in India, we need the appointment and the recruitment and the selection process will be different, because generally we find that the people in India, the youth in India, is not that much serious about their career, right? And it's just a chance, like we can have the good skill. Generally the people the youth in India, they have the degrees, but they don't have the certain skills which the company wants. So this is generally a problem which is there in the developing nations. And if an MNC wants good stuff, good people all around the world, from different corners of the world, they need to understand this fact, that the employment related attitude is also different from one nation to another. The last one is the difference in condition of employment. Differences in condition of employment, like the system of rewards, promotion, incentives, motivation, these things are also different from one nation to another. In India, generally the companies are habitual of uh, you know habitual of giving the bonus, incentives, and commissions. And in many of the other corners of the world, like in America, you need to give a good salary package. Generally the Americans, they are skilled, and for the same skill they need a higher package as compared to the Indians. So this is again a problem in front of the company. Thank you.